If you ever carried a balance on a credit card, you have probably seen that little line at the bottom of your statement, minimum payment due. And if you're like most people in that situation, you felt a quiet sense of relief when you saw it because it was manageable. It was a number you could actually pay, and paying it felt like you were handling your debt responsibly. I remember that feeling. The bill comes in, you pay the minimum, you move on, you tell yourself you'll pay more next month when things free up a little. And next month comes, and same thing happens. What nobody tells you is what is happening to that balance while you make those minimum payments. Because the number on the statement doesn't tell the whole story. The number on the statement shows you what you owe. It doesn't show you what that debt is actually costing you while it sits there. Today, we're going to look at that number, the real one, because once you see it, the minimum payment never looks the same again. Welcome to the part they skipped, the stuff they glossed over, the chapter that wasn't in the textbook, the money conversation on finance that you wish your teachers had with you. If you're new here, hit subscribe. New video every single week, and every episode comes with a free PDF, the cheat sheet of everything we covered today. Grab it in the description below. Now, before we get into it, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. Everything I share here is for educational purposes only. I'm going to give you a framework for how I think about this topic, but your situation is unique. Take what makes sense, leave what doesn't, and if you're making a major financial decision, always talk to a qualified professional first. All right, let's get into it. Here's what everyone watching this wants. You want to get out from under debt without it feeling impossible. You want a clear picture of what you're actually dealing with so you can make a real plan. And honestly, you want to stop feeling like you're paying and the balance barely moves. That last one is not your imagination. It's just math. And once you understand the math, you can use it to your advantage instead of being on the wrong side of it. Here's the problem with minimum payments. I feel like most people have a sense that minimum payments are not great, but they don't fully understand why. Credit card interest is calculated on your average daily balance. Every single day your balance sits there, your interest is accruing. When you make a minimum payment, the majority of that payment goes towards interest first, not towards the balance itself. The principal, the actual amount you borrowed, barely moves. Let me paint a picture of how this plays out. Say you have a credit card balance, the interest rate is, let's say, somewhere around 20%, which is in the range of what many cards charge. Your minimum payment is calculated as a percentage of the balance or a flat minimum, whichever is higher. On a meaningful balance, that minimum payment might feel reasonable, manageable, like you're chipping away at the debt. But here's what's actually happening. When most of your payment goes to interest first, and only a small portion reduces the principal, and then the next month's interest accrues again on that barely reduced principal, you are running on a treadmill. You're paying consistently and making almost no forward progress. The credit card company is not doing anything illegal. This is exactly how the product is designed. The minimum payment is set at a level that keeps you in debt for as long as possible while maximizing the interest they collect from you. And here's the thing that I think about when I reflect on my own experience with credit card debt. Nobody sat me down and explained what I was agreeing to when I started carrying a balance. I understood that interest rate existed. I did not understand what that rate did to my balance over time when I only paid the minimum. Those are two very different levels of understanding. The second part of this problem is what that money could be doing instead. Every dollar going toward credit card interest is a dollar not going towards your future, not being invested, not building net worth, just disappearing into the cost of having borrowed money you've already spent. So here's the framework that changes how you attack this. First, understand the avalanche versus the snowball. These are the two most common debt payoff strategies, and they work in different ways. Now, the avalanche method, you list down all your debts and you focus your extra payments on the one with the highest interest rate first while making minimum payments on everything else. Once that debt is paid off, you roll that payment into the next highest rate debt. Mathematically, this is the most efficient method. You pay the least total interest over time. Now, the snowball method, you list all your debts and you focus your extra payments on the smallest balance first, regardless of the interest rate. Once that debt is gone, you roll that payment into the next smallest balance. Psychologically, this method works a lot better for a lot of people because you get wins faster. You see balances disappearing. That momentum keeps you going. I have seen both work. The best method is whichever one you actually stick with. If the avalanche makes mathematical sense but you lose motivation halfway through, it didn't work. If the snowball costs you a little more in interest but you follow it all the way to zero, it worked. Second, find more to put towards the principal. The minimum payment keeps you in debt. Anything above the minimum attacks the actual balance. Even a modest amount of the minimum every month can dramatically shorten the timeline and reduce the total interest paid. Third, consider a balance transfer if your credit score qualifies you. Some credit cards offer 0% introductory periods on balance transfers. If you can move a high interest rate balance to a 0% card and pay it down aggressively during the promotional period, you can eliminate a significant amount of interest. Read the terms carefully. There are usually transfer fees and the rate jumps at the end of the promotional period. Step 1, list every debt you have. Balance, interest rate, minimum payment, put it all on the paper or a spreadsheet. You cannot make a real plan for something you can't see clearly. Step 2, pick a method, avalanche or snowball. Pick the one you will actually follow and commit to. Step 3, find anything above the minimum to put towards your target debt. It does not have to be a large amount, but consistency over time is what moves the needle. And step 4, stop using the card while you pay it down. You cannot drain a tub while the water is still running. Step 5, revisit every 3 months. Track the balance, see it moving. That movement is what keeps you going. That is not a character flaw, it is a math problem. And math problems have solutions. Apply what makes sense for your situation. Well, that's it for today. If this helped, please hit like. It helps more people find the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and grab the free PDF cheat sheet in the description below. Everything we covered today, ready to save or share. This is video 8 of 10 in our foundation series, the 10 money basics every adult should know, but most people were never taught. If you missed the last one on what happens to your money when you do nothing with it, that one is right here. See you next week.